Law Enforcement Code of Ethics. As a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve mankind, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all men to liberty, equality, and justice. I will keep my private life unsullied as an example to all. Maintain courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn, ridicule, develop self-restraint, and be constantly mindful of the welfare of others. Honest in thought and dead in both my personal and official life. I will be exemplary in obeying the laws of the land and the regulation of the department. Whatever I see or hear of a confidential nature or confined to me in the official capacity will be kept ever secret unless revolution is necessary in the performance of my duty. I will never act officiously or permit personal feelings, prejudice, animosities, or friendship to influence my decision. With no compromise for crime and with relentless prosecution of criminals, I will enforce the law consciously or courteously and appropriately without fear or favor, malice, or ill will, never employing unnecessary force or violence, and never accepting gratuities. I will recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith, and I accept it as a public trust to be held as long as I am true to the ethics of the police service. I will constantly strive to achieve these objectives and ideals, dedicating myself before God to my chosen profession, law enforcement. I will explain to you what are the meaning of each law enforcement code of ethics is. First, the law enforcement office or the law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve mankind. From this passage is contained two words, the duty and service. Too often we forgot the law enforcement is not just a job for which we are hired as one would hire laborer or tradesman. It involves the shorn duty. The word service denotes the denial of one's own pleasures and desires for a good of a person's or person to be served. Service involves dedication and sacrifice of giving of one's self. These are words that many find hard to swallow in this present day and age, but the job of professional law enforcement requires a special creed of men. Next is to serve lives and property, to protect the innocents against deception and weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder. We must, or however, understand some of the limitations that are present in a truly democratic society. In such a society as ours, this task can often be a difficult one because protecting the rights of the individual means also protecting the right of the criminal. This is sometimes a hard pill for law enforcement officer to swallow. Some officers stray politically to the far right in an effort to either seek a system where their job would be made easier or to be better protect the society that they have sworn to serve. Next, to respect the constitutional rights of all men to liberty, equality, and justice. Respecting the rights of others is not one of the man's natural equalities or qualities. It seems to be part of his nature to suspect and persecute those who are in any different for him. One of the greatest areas of fault among police officers generally is not so much the prejudice against the criminal. Maintain courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn or ridicule, and develop self-restraint. In a democratic society, a police officer is a public officer and as such a servant in a community. Instead of being above approach or ridicule, he must expect to receive his position as a part of his job. It is not easy to control one's temper when being subjected to unnecessary and unjustified scorn or ridicule. From the statement of whatever I see or hear of a confidential nature or that is confined to me in my official capacity will be kept unless a revelation is necessary to the performance of my duty. From this statement, some officers feel that there is a difference in that the information obtained by the doctor and attorney is fairly given with the understanding that will be confidential, whereas that information obtained as a part of law enforcement officer can be result of many sources or forms of investigation. Next statement, I will never permit personal feelings, prejudice, animosities, or friendship to influence my decision. From this statement, it is quite difficult to know which desire is strongest in some persons, to help our friends or to hurt our enemies. But both desires are part of our human nature. I will never act officiously. One of the faults common to a new officer is that they often act officiously. They appear to the public to be over-impressed or impressed with their own importance. In a way, this is unnatural because it is associated with pride, and a new officer is usually very proud of his a noble undertaking. However, a law enforcement officer must always guard against having this pride misinterpreted by the public as being merely officious. Next statement, I will never employ unnecessary force or violence. At this time, the use of force in the performance of one's duty is an absolutely necessity. There is no escaping it. It is extremely difficult to judge exactly whatever or not use of force is necessary in a given situation. The use of force or violence during interrogation will often produce intimately confession, but it should be avoided on ethical grounds. Next, I will never accept gratuities. These members of law enforcement who developed this code were certainly aware of the complexities of this particular area, but the use of the word never in relation to accepting gratuities indicated that they felt that this was the necessary and essential prerequisite to professional law enforcement. To be truly professional, we must first ethical. We must do what is the actual described, not merely what we would like to be desirable. You understand my recitation and my discussion that tackled about the law enforcement code of ethics. Bye! God bless!